Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're getting real about one of life's toughest challenges, letting go of people and situations that weigh us down. No fancy fluff, just raw, honest truths drawn from the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and the cutting-edge insights of modern psychology. If you're tired of feeling chained to past hurts, toxic relationships, or impossible situations that drain your energy, you're in the right place. I'm not here to sugarcoat things. Life is messy. Sometimes the hardest step isn't changing what happens, but shifting how we react. In this video, we'll dive deep into practical strategies to let go, find inner peace, and reclaim the freedom you deserve. So get comfortable, and let's journey through candid real talk about how to free yourself from burdens that no longer serve you. Let's start by confronting the elephant in the room. Why is it so damn hard to let go? Whether it's a person who constantly disappoints you or a situation that feels beyond repair, our human nature often traps us in a cycle of clinging. We hold on to memories, hopes, and grudges because, deep down, letting go feels like admitting defeat. But holding on to what hurts us isn't a show of strength. It's a continuous battle that robs us of the present. We live in a culture that celebrates persistence. Never give up is the mantra. But there's a foggy difference between holding on because you believe in resilience and clinging to something that's pulling you down. The key distinction, recognizing what's within our control and what isn't. This is where Stoicism meets modern psychology. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus taught that life is full of uncontrollable events. Our opinions and reactions, however, are in our hands. When we hold on to toxic influences, we're not protecting ourselves. We're surrendering our power to forces outside our control. Psychology shows that our mind is wired to seek familiarity, even when it hurts, because letting go means stepping into the unknown. Today, we break that pattern. Imagine yourself carrying an old, frayed backpack. Over time, you may hardly notice its weight, even though it's filled with stones that represent all your regrets, past hurts, and toxic interactions. But eventually, those stones will burden you, making the journey uphill. The only way to travel lighter is to remove each stone with intention, and that's the very essence of letting go. At the heart of Stoicism is a powerful principle, the dichotomy of control. This means that you need to focus on what you can control and accept what you cannot. Let's simplify things. You cannot control what others think, feel, or do, but you have full responsibility over your response to them. It's a brutal truth that, once accepted, becomes liberating. Think about it like driving a car. You control the steering wheel, the accelerator, and the brake. But you can't control the traffic or weather conditions that might slow you down. Instead of stressing over inevitabilities, you adjust your driving and stay focused on your lane. Similarly, trying to fix people or forcing outcomes causes unnecessary turmoil. Instead, recalibrate. Steer your focus to what you can change, your mindset, your actions, the way you choose to react in every moment. Letting go begins with the simple, yet profound, realization. You are the captain of your ship. Instead of trying to anchor someone to your expectations or fix a situation that's out of repair, invest that energy in the direction you control. When you accept that not everything is meant for you to solve, you free up emotional space that might be used to build something better. And let's be honest, life gets so much richer when you stop wasting energy on what isn't yours to hold. Now, let's dig deeper into why we hold on even when it hurts. Our minds are incredibly adaptive, often forming deep psychological attachments to experiences and people, even the ones that hurt us. It's as if we're addicted to familiar pain because it's the only thing we've ever truly known. Imagine being in a relationship that leaves you emotionally battered. Yet, the comfort of routine keeps you trapped. Psychologically, the familiarity becomes a crutch. In neuroscience, this is partly explained by the brain's reward system. When you cling to negative experiences, your brain sometimes releases dopamine, the same pleasure chemical linked to survival and reward. Even though the outcome is negative, the chemical rush reinforces the habit of holding on. But here's where the brutal honesty comes in. Pain does not have to be your default mode. The cost of clinging to past wounds, toxic people, or unhealthy situations is heavy. It chips away at your sense of self and keeps you anchored in a past that no longer exists. In other words, staying stuck isn't a sign of strength or loyalty. It's an expensive burden that saps your inner light. Taking the step to let go is less about forgetting and more about forgiving yourself, allowing yourself the freedom to heal, grow, and reclaim the positive energy that's rightfully yours. When you choose to let go, you stop paying rent for a dwelling built on pain. Instead, you can build a home that welcomes peace and growth. Now that we've acknowledged the cost of clinging, it's time for the heavy lifting, rebuilding your inner self. Letting go is a radical act of self-care. It's declaring that your mental health and inner peace are non-negotiable. And while this process takes time, it starts with very tangible steps. Step 1. Recognize the patterns. You need to identify and confront the recurring thoughts and beliefs that keep you tethered to past hurts. Whether it's a stubborn need for validation, an unspoken belief that you don't deserve better, or simply the inertia of habit, acknowledge these patterns. Write them down if you have to. Seeing them on paper makes them less abstract and more placeable for change. Step 2. Create a new narrative. Stoicism teaches us to reframe our perceptions. When you catch yourself falling into old mental traps, pause and ask, is this thought serving my growth? Replace self-destructive or anxious narratives with empowering alternatives. For instance, change "I can't live without them" to "I deserve to live a life free of unnecessary pain." It might feel strange at first, but words have power. Over time, this new narrative will reshape your internal dialogue. Step 3. Anchor yourself in the present. So often, letting go is about releasing the past and freeing yourself to embrace the moment. Modern psychology emphasizes mindfulness, being fully present and engaged in the here and now. When you focus on the present moment, the grip of former patterns loosens. Try simple mindfulness exercises. Focus on your breathing for a few minutes. Notice the sensations around you, and allow the world to reveal itself without the haze of previous disappointments. Step 4. Cultivate strength through reflection. Stoics maintain a daily practice of reflecting on their thoughts and actions. Journaling is a simple yet powerful tool that merges Stoic reflection with modern self-awareness. Set aside time each day to write about your experiences, what triggered old emotions, and how you responded. Honest self-reflection not only uncovers patterns, but also reinforces your progress each time you close the journal for the day. Step 5. Embrace accountability and set boundaries. Letting go also means knowing when to cut ties. Sometimes, the act of releasing someone or a situation is a clear boundary-setting exercise. This isn't about playing the blame game. It's about self-preservation. Understand that it's okay to prioritize your well-being. Relationships and situations should uplift you, not drain you. If energy-draining dynamics persist, enforce healthy boundaries. This might mean saying no firmly, removing yourself from certain gatherings, or even taking a break from someone whose behavior consistently disrespects your emotional safety. By following these steps, you're not just letting go, you're rebuilding yourself into a person of clarity, strength, and unwavering inner peace. Stoicism is a philosophy born from the ancient world, yet its insights are as relevant as ever. Let's chew on some of its core tenets that relate directly to our struggle with letting go. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This statement encapsulates the essence of letting go. Instead of getting bogged down by uncontrollable circumstances, focus on your reactions. This shift in perspective isn't just philosophical, it's a practical roadmap for emotional freedom. Consider the Stoic idea of memento mori, a reminder of life's impermanence. At first, this may sound grim, but facing the inevitable end of every experience clarifies priorities. When you truly grasp that nothing is permanent, the hold of toxic patterns weakens. The realization that all relationships, positive or negative, have their seasons allows space for gratitude for what was and readiness for what can be. Stoicism also teaches us to value virtue above all else. Instead of letting the actions of others set the pace of your inner journey, focus on cultivating courage, wisdom, justice, and self-control. These virtues become your North Star when facing life's storms. They remind you that your worth isn't derived from external circumstances, but from the steadfast values you build within yourself. Let these timeless principles sink in. When you release the need to control externalities, you immediately reduce the noise inside your mind. Embrace the idea that pain, disappointment, and loss are transient visitors, not permanent residents in your soul. Every time negativity knocks on your door, answer it with the stoic clarity that you are not defined by these fleeting moments. Instead, you are composed of steel, tempered by life's relentless trials, ready to let go and move forward with renewed purpose. While ancient wisdom gives us guidance on how to view the world, modern psychology provides us with actionable tools to recalibrate our emotions. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is one area that directly tackles how thoughts influence feelings. CBT encourages us to challenge negative thought patterns and reframe our perceptions, an idea that aligns almost perfectly with Stoic practices. For many, the practice of letting go means confronting cognitive distortions, the rebellious, thoughts that insist everything is ruined or I will never be happy without this. And recognizing these distorted thinking patterns and challenging their validity allows you to carve a path toward a healthier self-image. When you learn that your mind is simply making assumptions rather than stating facts, you gain the power to modify your responses. Let's get real for a moment. Our brains are hardwired to remember pain more than pleasure, which is why traumatic memories can seem so overpowering. Psychology tells us that you don't have to erase these memories to achieve peace. Instead, you can change the way they influence your current life. Techniques such as mindfulness, self-compassion exercises, and even professional therapy can guide you through this transformation. Think of your brain as a labyrinth. Over the years, pathways built from repetitive exposure to pain and stress have become your default routes. Rewiring these pathways starts with consciously choosing new routes, practices that promote relaxation, gratitude, and connection. In doing so, you not only let go of old, destructive thought patterns, but you also create space for new, empowering beliefs to flourish. With every intentional action, you signal to your brain that it's safe to move on, safe to let go. And trust me, this isn't an overnight process. It requires patience, practice, and a deep level of self-compassion. Real change comes when you allow yourself both the grace to fail and the determination to persist. Every misstep, every moment of doubt, is simply part of an ongoing journey toward inner liberation. So, how do you take the final, sometimes terrifying leap of letting go? It's time to get honest with yourself. What are you holding on to that no longer serves you? Write it down. It might be a relationship that leaves you feeling small, a job that drains your passion, or even an idea of who you thought you needed to be. Once you see it on paper, examine its impact on your life. Here's a radical way to think about it. Letting go is not a loss, it's a gain. By removing the chains of outdated beliefs and toxic attachments, you open yourself up to endless possibilities. Think of it as a reboot of your system, like clearing out old files to make way for better, more useful programs. You're not discarding a piece of your past. You're choosing to upgrade and evolve into a more vibrant, authentic version of yourself. Now, I want you to imagine a future where you're not weighed down by old patterns. A future where your decisions are no longer influenced by the fear of abandonment, betrayal, or failure. Instead, you move forward with intentionality, guided by the clear, unyielding light of your inner truth. This vision requires you to challenge the status quo within your mind. It demands that you stand firm against the allure of familiar pain and choose, boldly, a new way of being. The process may be challenging. There will be days when the urge to cling back to old habits feels overwhelming. That's normal. But by consistently reminding yourself of the principles of Stoicism, acceptance, virtue, and emotional resilience, you reinforce your commitment to a more liberated life. Keep it real, keep it honest, and every day, remind yourself that you are powerful enough to release what doesn't benefit you. Let this be your call to action. Today, choose to let go. Dump those unnecessary burdens and carve out a space where your true self can thrive. It's a leap of faith, but the fall is often what gives you the room to rise higher than ever before. All right, let's break this down into everyday strategies that you can use starting now. These aren't complicated theoretical ideas, just simple, practical steps to integrate letting go into your daily routine. 1. Morning reflections. Each morning, take 5 minutes to reflect on what you're grateful for and what you're ready to leave behind. Write a brief note or simply meditate on the thought that today is a new opportunity to cultivate inner peace. This ritual sets a positive tone and reminds you that every day is a fresh start. 2. Digital detox. In our hyper-connected world, it's easy to get sucked into comparisons and negative interactions online. Dedicate some time each day, even if it's just 10-15 minutes, to disconnect from digital distractions. Use this time to reconnect with yourself, read a book, go for a walk, or simply breathe. Creating boundaries with technology helps you detach from external chaos, reinforcing your commitment to inner peace. 3. Boundaries and no practice. Practice saying no without guilt. Not every invitation or request deserves your time and energy. By setting clear boundaries, you're not being selfish, you're honoring your mental health. Over time, these small decisions add up, creating a buffer zone that protects you from being dragged back into old cycles. Patience and self-talk. When negative thoughts creep in, counter them with affirmations. Remind yourself, I'm not defined by my past. Every moment is a chance to start fresh. Or, I deserve peace and happiness. Did these affirmations, repeated consistently, help rewire the brain's default setting from one of self-doubt to one of authentic self-respect? 5. Seek community and professional guidance. Sometimes, real talk means acknowledging that the hardest battles are tackled with support. Surround yourself with people who uplift and challenge you to be better. If needed, don't hesitate to seek therapy or counseling. Remember, asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. These steps, combined with the philosophical insights and psychological strategies we discussed earlier, create a comprehensive approach to living a freer life. The journey toward letting go is both internal and external, a process of reclaiming your power and redefining your relationships with what once controlled you. I want to take a moment to share a personal story, a real moment when I had to let go. There was a time in my life when I clung hard to a relationship that, over time, became more toxic than nurturing. Every argument, every disappointment was a brick in the wall I built around myself. I thought that by holding on, I was showing loyalty or proving my worth. But in reality, I was just keeping that weight on my shoulders, afraid of who I might become without that anchor. One day, I realized that if I continued down that path, I'd end up losing a part of me forever. It was then that I decided, with all the raw vulnerability I could muster, to let go. I stopped blaming myself and choosing paths that kept me stuck. In place of that heavy legacy, I began to fill in my life with self-reflection, mindfulness, and the steady practice of acknowledging my own worth. The process wasn't immediate, and it wasn't clean. There were days when the old habits crept back in, and moments when doubt washed over me like a tidal wave. But what I learned from that experience was transformative. Letting go is the doorway to growth and inner peace. I began to see that every painful moment was a lesson, every disappointment a chance to recalibrate. Instead of mourning what I had lost, I celebrated the courage it took to release it. I started focusing on what I could build from that moment, the life I wanted that wasn't defined by toxic attachments. And over time, I discovered that my capacity for joy, creativity, and authentic connection grew exponentially. If you're in a place where letting go feels nearly impossible, know that you're not alone. We all struggle with attachments that no longer serve us. And while the journey is deeply personal, the courage to take that first step is universal. Trust that inside you is an incredibly resilient spirit, capable of weathering storms and emerging stronger on the other side. Another core component of releasing emotional baggage is forgiveness. And let's be clear, this isn't about condoning hurtful behavior. Forgiveness, in its most honest form, is about freeing yourself from the chains of resentment. When you forgive, you're not saying that the past didn't hurt, you're choosing not to let it define your future. Hold on to anger long enough, and you discover that it turns inward, poisoning your own sense of well-being. Think of forgiveness as a gift you give yourself, an act of self-compassion that says, I deserve to move on. Then it requires honesty and vulnerability to acknowledge the pain, and then the strength to say, I'm not going to let that pain dictate my life any longer. And often, forgiveness is intertwined with the idea of acceptance, embracing the reality of what's happened and releasing the illusion that certain things should have been different. Look at it this way. Every time you forgive, you're reclaiming a bit of your freedom, shifting your focus from an unchangeable past to a limitless future. And here's a real lesson. Forgiveness isn't linear. Some days you'll feel like you've forgiven completely, only to be haunted by old memories on others. That's perfectly normal. When these moments arise, remind yourself that forgiveness is a practice, not a destination. Every step you take towards letting go is a victory, even if it happens slowly. Let's talk about impermanence, the idea that nothing lasts forever. This may sound like a bleak observation, but it's actually one of the most liberating truths you can embrace, recognizing that every experience, relationship, and moment is temporary gives you the power to celebrate life without clinging to it desperately. When you see that both the highs and lows of life are transient, you can allow each moment its due significance without feeling trapped. Every goodbye holds the promise of a new hello. Instead of grieving what's gone, you begin to see the beauty in transitions, acknowledging that each ending is a quiet invitation for a new beginning. Modern psychology and mindfulness practices encourage us to live fully in the present, make a habit of pausing, and truly experiencing the now. Whether it's savoring your morning coffee, noticing the way sunlight plays on a window, or simply feeling the rhythm of your breath. These moments of presence serve as anchors that remind you that life is happening right now. The past is a lesson, the future is a mystery, but the present, undeniably, is a precious gift. Focus on being present, and you'll notice that the weight of past hurts begins to lift. The more you dwell on what you cannot change, the more disconnected you become from what is real. Let go of the illusion of permanence for hurt and disappointment, and embrace the ever-changing dance of existence. In this dance, every step brings you closer to true inner peace. As we come full circle, take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed today. Letting go of people and situations isn't about losing parts of yourself. It's about uncovering who you really are beneath the weight of old expectations and lingering pain. It's about reclaiming your power by accepting what you can't control, rewriting your internal narrative, and building a life that's aligned with your highest values. Stoicism shows us that true freedom is achieved not by clinging harder, but by learning to release. Psychology teaches us that our thoughts shape our feelings and that with practice, you can rewire your mind to focus on hope rather than regret. Together, these philosophies offer a roadmap for a life defined by inner peace, authenticity, and resilient joy. Remember, the process of letting go is a journey, not a destination. Celebrate each small victory, the moments when you choose mindfulness over habit, when you choose to set boundaries rather than compromise your well-being, when you choose to forgive even when it hurts. These choices add up to a powerful shift in your energy and perspective, one that allows you to live more fully in the present and step boldly into the unknown future. So here's my final piece of real talk. You deserve to break free from the chains of past hurts and toxic relationships. You owe it to yourself to nurture a life that aligns with your deepest values and highest aspirations. No matter how deeply those old patterns have rooted, know that you have the power within you to unlearn, rebuild, and reclaim your truest self. If this message resonates with you, take the first step today. Write down what you're ready to let go of. Set that boundary, or simply take a deep, mindful breath. Embrace the uncertainty, knowing that every moment forward is an opportunity to build a life that's authentically yours. This is your invitation to step into the light of inner peace, armed with the wisdom of centuries and the modern insights of psychology. Thank you for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this discussion, please like, share, and subscribe for more real talk on living your most genuine, fearless life. And if you have your own stories of letting go or tips that helped you find peace, drop them in the comments. Let's uplift each other and remind ourselves that letting go is not an act of weakness, but a courageous step toward the freedom we all deserve. Until next time, keep it real and keep moving forward, one mindful step at a time. This has been a sincere conversation about embracing change, shedding old burdens, and choosing inner peace over the chaos of clinging to what doesn't serve us. Remember, life is fleeting. Embrace the impermanence, honor your journey, and let your inner light shine through every twist and turn. Thank you for being part of this community, a place where real talk meets soulful action. Stay strong, stay kind, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. In this Real Talk discussion, we've explored the realities of holding on and the powerful process of letting go with an uncompromising dose of real talk. Combining the Stoic wisdom of accepting what you cannot control with modern psychology's tools for reshaping your thought patterns, you now have a blueprint for reclaiming your inner peace. Every challenge on this journey is an opportunity to rediscover your strength and build a life that truly reflects who you are. Remember, letting go isn't about erasing the past. It's about learning from it and moving forward with a lighter, freer heart. Each small decision to forgive, reframe, and set boundaries brings you closer to the life you envision. So take these lessons, turn them into daily habits, and step boldly into a future where you hold the reins of your own happiness. Thank you for listening, and here's to a future filled with inner peace, authentic relationships, and the freedom to live on your own terms. Let go of what weighs you down to watch your life transform. As you adopt these Stoic principles, backed by modern psychological insight, you reclaim your power and create room for unprecedented growth. It's a continuous journey, so be patient with yourself. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Embrace each day as a step forward, and remember that pain is temporary, while inner peace is eternal. Take a step today. Let go of that person, that habit, that situation that no longer serves you. Replace it with practices of self-care, reflection, and unwavering self-respect. You have everything it takes to live a vibrant, empowered life. This is your moment. Be brave, be bold, and above all, be unapologetically you. Thank you for being here, for being willing to confront the hard truths, and for taking the courageous steps required to let go and find your inner peace. I believe in you, and I know that as you let go, You're opening the gateway to limitless possibilities. Until next time, take care and keep that spark alive. May these words empower you and your viewers to truly embrace a life that's lighter, freer, and filled with the authentic beauty of living in the present. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes real freedom comes from the hardest choices. Keep it real, keep it honest, and above all, keep growing.